Hello, and welcome back to the Designated DM channel. Today we're going to be covering the dark domain of Hazlan, a domain doomed by magic. Now, this information here is something I'm making for those who are curious about this dark domain, either wishing to run it for yourselves, for your own games, or just wanting to learn more about this mysterious location and its dark lord. Much of this can be found within Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft on page 112. In Hazlan, magic is authority, justification for any excess, and for those without it, the specter of inevitable doom. This domain has the hallmarks of amoral casters, magic-raved environments, magical experiments, and wild magic, and it's ruled by the Dark Lord Hazlan, a paranoid, controlling ruler. Magic within Hazlan is often unreliable, resulting in dangerous side effects, and you can see the visible effects of magical disasters that infest the domain. There are very few remaining communities that are still populated by hunters, miners, and artisans struggling to learn a bit of magic to gain some sense of progress in this domain. I chose this place because in my campaign in Tyr, the Empire is a magocracy, a society in which those with magic rise above. Hazlan offered the opportunity to see what this kind of world would look like if taken to this extreme, if these two social classes were completely divided by this one ability. The map of Hazlan displays many signs of the magical chaos within these lands and the experimentation that's been done on them. The thick, sparkling smog that chokes the village of Romuli, the waste from industries that fill the burning river, named for the regularity with which the pollutants ignite, the lacuna, the knee-high ground fog that spells doom for any who tumble into it, and the brew, toxic marsh poisoned by alchemical pollutants. And who is the Dark Lord who rules this place? I mentioned before, the wizard Hazlitt, raised among the Red Wizards of Thay, found within the world of Toril, the kind of standard setting for the Forgotten Realms that 5th edition often resides in. Hazlitt was eager and obsessed over creating the perfect mortal form. He advanced in power, engaging in many petty contests, through which he embarrassed his rivals by scarring or maiming them. However, there was one competitor for Hazlitt, one rival, the Red Wizard Indrificus. These wizards fixated on each other. As Indrificus shared Hazlitt's genius, they were vicious adversaries and passionate lovers, until Hazlitt discovered Indrificus planned to betray him and gain favor with the Zulkirs. Hazlitt was heartbroken, consumed by rage, and captured his former lover, subjecting him to a nightmarish experiment so cruel that it transformed him into a living portal, suffering for eternity. When this was discovered, the Zulkirs who ruled the land saw it as an abomination, but before their punishment could be handed down, Hazlitt fled into the very portal that was Indrificus. It was here that Hazlitt encountered the strange mists, this world of fog, the constant condemnation from the voice of Indrificus. And when he escaped, he found himself in a new realm, a realm that knew nothing of magic. He had changed, covered in golden tattoos that announced him as a traitor in his homeland. Undaunted, Hazlitt dubbed this new world Hazlan, crowned himself its ruler. However, unbeknownst to Hazlitt, each dark domain is intended to serve as their prison for its Dark Lord, where they are tormented for their crimes. For Hazlan, the aspects of this domain are specifically designed to undermine Hazlitt's ego, to force him to doubt himself, as it is Hazlitt's arrogance that defines his existence. So there are several points regarding Hazlitt's torment that must be kept in mind. The aspects of this domain are designed specifically to undermine Hazlitt's ego, to force him to doubt himself, as it is his arrogance that defines his existence. Since entering Hazlan, Hazlitt has not been able to learn any new magic. No matter how much he studies or researches, he pushes his apprentices to chip away at the nature of the land, hoping to find out what lies beyond and ultimately to escape this place. He cares nothing for this domain or its inhabitants, as he's confident that he'll just leave this place before it becomes uninhabitable. Hazlitt covets and pursues magical items. sending his apprentices to seek them out, giving him a taste of the magic that he has lost. But the magical research that formerly drove him in life would no longer advance. Vivid nightmares of his failures, of his frustrations occur every time that he sleeps, causing him to avoid sleeping at all costs. Becoming incredibly paranoid, Hazlitt is terrified of others learning of his limitations. He berates and betrays other wizards, claims magical discoveries as his own, and endlessly spies on both rivals and visitors to his domain. At first, Hazlitt didn't care what happened to this strange world, expecting that he would just escape it. But now, as this seems increasingly unlikely, his dread clashes with his refusal to accept that he has ever been wrong. He gathers anything that could be a useful tool, whether for amusement or a potential spell component. However, he is deeply frustrated by his magical ability and lashes out and responds to the slightest setback in a harsh manner. He is vain, egotistical. He permits dozens of apprentices to study at his feet. However, his lessons are infrequent, demanding, and filled with mocking examples of those who don't impress him. And those who don't impress him don't survive long. Hazlitt often claims the success of his apprentices as his own in order to hide his lack of innovation and further his reputation as Hazlin's greatest wizard. Hazlitt realizes that this place doesn't feel real, not as real as the world of his birth, but he has yet to discover why. Hazlitt is paranoid, and he often spies on his domain's inhabitants, using his personal sigil, the Eye of Hazlitt. The stylized eye adorns the buildings, art, clothing, and talismans across Hazlitt. The locals claim the symbol ward off dangerous magic and protect from magical creatures remarkably. And it's not all superstition. The Eye of Hazlitt takes on a shape resembling an eye-like tattoo, the same kind of tattoos that cover Hazlitt's body. And while they are not magical, anyone who openly wears an Eye of Hazlitt can be granted the ability not to roll on the wild magic table if granted by Hazlitt. He is aware of any spell or magic item that is used within his domain. It's within sight of one of his eyes. He is also aware of the spell's level and the rarity of any magic items used. At any time, Hazlitt can use one of these eyes as though it were a stationary eye created by the arcane eye spell, and can spy on whoever, whenever, for as long as he pleases. Typically, these eyes begin to radiate magic when he's spying through them, and he likes to use these eyes to keep tabs on magic users in his domain, spying on those who he thinks might be useful or threatening to him. I saw the lands of Hazlan as an opportunity to see what a world with such a caste system would be like, dividing those with magic from those without it, of having an egotistical ruler who cared more about themselves more than any of the people that they ruled over. What is the point of a ruler without the ruled? Hazlan was ruled by Hazlitt, who did not care about any of those beneath him. Fueled by arrogance and ego, only cared about himself. This world here, clearly falling rapidly into ruin. Under his rulership, I have no doubt that eventually, when nothing else is left, and his realm is uninhabitable, when everyone else is dead, when there is no clean air or water or sources of food, only then will he have realized the cost of his arrogance, his self-importance, and his folly. That's it for Hazlitt and his dark domain. Like I mentioned, all of this information can be found in Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft, a great book, but of course, if you're not interested in all of those spoilers, then I hope this gave you a bit of insight into what these dark domains are like. So, thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.